I want to start by thanking, on behalf of FAO, the CARICOM Secretariat, for having us be part of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture 2021, as we have done in the past and will continue to do with great joy in the future. I also want to say hello and join our partners of IICA and CARDI. We've always worked together during CWAs, and is so important in present times to strengthen our partnerships and our collaboration. This is not the time to be acting alone in any important objective. And most important, of course, I want to thank the Ministers of Agriculture of the Caribbean, represented here by Honorable Minister Mustafa. You are our main constituency. You are the people that we need to serve, and serve every day more effectively. The theme of this year's Caribbean Week of Agriculture could not be more timely, more relevant, or more important. Transformation of food systems, or agri-food systems, as we prefer to say in FAO. Caribbean agri-food systems face many challenges. You all know this very well. The most important of all, probably, is climate change. Your countries did very little to contribute to creating this immense problem that is being faced by humanity. But you will suffer more than many other countries from around the world. Your people are among the most vulnerable populations to climate change. Your production losses are projected to be more than twice the production losses that other countries will face. And the number of people, or the proportion of people in your countries that will be affected by the consequences of climate change through natural hazards, is 3 times higher than in other countries. Water stress is already a very, very significant problem, but will be an even more important one with climate change. Already 7 out of 36 of the most water-stressed countries in the world are in the Caribbean. 40% of your territory suffers some degree of drought on a periodic basis. This challenge is only getting worse. A second challenge, of course, is food security. The very familiar issue of the food import bill always captures our attention. $5 billion worth of food import bill is the latest figure that I have at hand. Now, this level of food dependency creates enormous risks. You will remember that a few months ago, at the start of the pandemic, when we did not know if the food supply chains would hold or would crack. There were 2 or 3 months where we really were not very sure what would happen. And I remember the ministers and your head of government making all sorts of preparations and plans in case things turned for the worse. Fortunately, this time, the food supply chains did hold. And of course, your farmers, your producers, contributed greatly to continue putting food on the table of all people in the Caribbean. But the risk is enormous. Do we want to continue taking this risk and having this risk in front of us when the next pandemic comes, where the next major crisis comes? This is something we need to deal with urgently. You know that better than me. And of course, we always speak of the food import bill at the macro level. But let's look at it at the level of a household. Healthy diets in the Caribbean are among the most expensive in the world. Almost $4.5 per person per day. That's a food bill of $6,555 per year for a family of 4 for a healthy diet. It's unaffordable to many people in the Caribbean. So huge import bill, but not leading to a healthy diet. So this is something that we also need to, of course, stress and tackle. And of course, these two, climate change and food security, are very structural issues with long and deep roots. On top of this, we now face the economic and social consequences of the pandemic. You know that for most countries in the Caribbean, the economic devastation caused by this crisis will continue to be present for the coming 2 or 3 or even more years. So we cannot deal with these big issues, with these big challenges in a piecemeal way. The special task force, ministerial task force created in the CARICOM and that is chaired by the Honorable Minister Mustafa is very clear in its analysis. These issues are interconnected and interdependent, and they need to be addressed in a cohesive, coherent, and strategic way. This is why we talk about the transformation of agri-food systems in the Caribbean. It's not to fix little things here and there. It's to be able to deal with the major challenges, but also the huge opportunities in front of Caribbean agri-food systems if we are successful in tackling these issues, as I think we can be successful. FAO also wants to perhaps take a more integral approach to working with you. We want to be very loyal and very effective partners of the ministers and the ministries and your people. We're making considerable investments in the Caribbean, and these are growing. These have been growing now for several years. As of today, our projects are worth $63 million in the Caribbean. And our pipeline, already in advanced stages in the pipeline, will bring an additional $78 million. But we need to overcome a project-by-project approach. What we would like to do under the leadership of the ministers, under the guidance of the Special Ministerial Task Force, is to be able to take a much more strategic approach so that all of this work really contributes to the transformation of agri-food systems in the Caribbean. I hope we can continue to discuss these important issues in the coming days in the different workshops. My friend and colleague, Dr. Otero, has mentioned some of those that ICA has co-organized with you, with CARDI. We have also contributed to organizing some of them, but we really need to take the strategic view that the Special Task Force has been advocating in recent days. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.